What if everything you've been taught about success, what it is, and how to achieve it, is really what's keeping you from it? What if everything you've been taught about self worth, who you are, what determines your value, is really what's keeping you from it? What if everything you've been taught about decision making, the premises you should base decisions on, is really what's keeping you from the life you really want? We've all been programmed to rely on intellect and societal rules for guidance. But true power comes from a deeper, divine intelligence within. That's beyond human intellect. Oh, it's wisdom. By the end of this video, you'll understand this too, and how to get it. It requires an identity shift, a shift from intellect and societal programming to divine intuition. What if mastering your focus is the key to having the life that will really serve you best? And in every area of life? Well, I'm telling you it is. But how do you do that? What do you need to understand about energy for that to be possible for you? And what do you need to understand about yourself to navigate energy? Well, that's what we're covering today. And by the end of this video, you'll understand energy, its flow, and how to focus your energetic electromagnetic flow. Now, I'm going to tell you a bit about what this identity shift has meant for me, why it matters for you, and then how I plan to help you with your own shift. Be right back. Hi, my name is Zara Green. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. My journey has been all about shifting from intellect and societal expectations to living according to my design. My life was personal development, only to eventually realize that it's all human consciousness programming, just another level designed to keep you dependent on your intellect, not divine intuition. There are many of us who see the light today and paving the way. I didn't have guides. My path was the school of hard knocks. I spent years trying to fit into social constructs, excelling intellectually, yet never quite fitting in. I looked successful from the outside, but struggled to truly actualize what I implemented. The internal struggle was real because societal pressures are relentless, especially being told I had all of the advantages. Coming from a two-parent household, we were the family that seemed perfect. Higher education wasn't just encouraged, it was expected. My brother and I stood out because we fit the typical modes of exceptions. And because daddy knew all the right people, we were given opportunities to excel. Yet, life kept challenging me because pretending wasn't in my nature. I always rejected hierarchies in the workplace and in life, really. Always quitting a job before I could get fired and going against the grain. It's just what I do. While pursuing a psychology degree, I discovered the field was more about labeling and medicating than truly understanding human behavior. So after graduating, I published my first book, Living in Harmony, focusing on understanding thoughts and behaviors in a natural way, the origin of psychology. It was obvious to me then, over 30 years ago, that we would end up right here, where people trust more in labels and in their meds than their intuition. I explored different religions, completed a ministerial program, and spent 10 years at a mega church before realizing institutions, all of them, often teach you what to think, not how to think for yourself. It's all indoctrination, folks. After two early marriages in my 20s rooted in religious programming, I left religion and allowed myself to embrace expanded spirituality. I finally embraced my intuition during my third marriage. That's when my life started unraveling from the facades. I could no longer maintain them. My intuition roared at life, and I had to respond. Not long after that, I left the country, everything and everybody, and embarked on my transcendent journey, a journey beyond transformation. They are not the same. And that's what I want you to understand. If you're going to rise above the programming and conditioning, you need to recognize the difference between transformation and transcendence. Let me clarify something from the start. I have been on this journey for a few years now, and I have studied just about everything and everybody when it comes to this divine shift in consciousness. And there is a lot of talk about identities and how you have to take on particular identities. And if you are going that route, then you will forever be trying to shift and become what other people are and what their journeys have been in order to achieve what you want. And I'm particularly talking about the world of manifestation. Listen, we are all taking different paths to get to where we need to be. And you have to figure out what yours is. And you will have to go through some of that in order to figure it out. But ultimately, what you're going to find is this: there are only two identities: human consciousness and divine consciousness. When you begin to understand divine consciousness, you'll also see the difference between operating in human programming, which you know very well, and divine intelligence. Now, to briefly distinguish the two, human programming is constrictive, dependent on external validation, driven by fear, and rooted in the mind, which I call thought trap. Whereas divine intelligence is expansive, it is self sourced intuition, it is guided by love and freedom, and trusting of innate higher wisdom. Now let's dig in, contrasting the difference between intellect based decision making and operating from divine guidance. Put on your student caps, okay? Because I'm about to do a side by side comparison of when you're operating in which identity. This is a good time to remind you that you are energy, not your human suit. You need your human suit, but what it experiences depends on the identity you're choosing. Let's compare human programming versus divine intelligence. Number one, constrictive is human programming, expansive is divine intelligence. Constrictive lives within limitations of social constructs, often following predefined roles, rules, and expectations that create a sense of confinement. This keeps you in survival mode, seeking comfort within the familiar. Expansive embraces the vastness of existence. It operates from an expansive consciousness that recognizes the oneness of all beings, allowing you to see beyond duality and separation. There is no duality, there is polarity, but believing in duality creates a double mind. Divine intelligence knows there is more to life than what the conditioned mind can grasp, providing constant mind renewal and a sense of personal evolution. Spiritual transcendence. Number two, dependent on external validation, is human programming. Self sourced intuition is divine intelligence. Dependent on external validation, it means that you are conditioned to find worth in external markers of success, like achievements, social status, or the opinions of others. It keeps individuals trapped in a cycle of validation seeking and performance based identity. Self sourced intuition connects to the innate or reconnects you actually. You've never been disconnected. It's self sourced wisdom within. This is about recognizing that truth flows from within, and no external source has the power to dictate one's value, your value. Divine intelligence leads individuals to operate from inner authority, honoring their intuition, honoring your intuition, and understanding that intuition is your soul's voice, not just a feeling. Stop minimizing it. This wisdom is in tune with the universal flow, and you can trust the intuitive path as the truest guide. your truest guide. Number three, driven by fear is human programming. Guided by love and freedom is divine intelligence. Driven by fear, oh, it becomes the primary motivator, whether it's fear of failure, rejection, or loss. This creates reactive decisions and resistance to change, often keeping you stuck in familiar patterns, loops, because stepping outside feels unsafe. That's what human consciousness programming does. Guided by love and freedom, rooted in unconditional love and unshakable freedom. It's not just the absence of fear, but the understanding that fear is a construct of the ego and societal conditioning. Divine intelligence frees the individual from fear based thinking, enabling them to act from a place of unconditional trust in the unfolding of life. Here, freedom is not a concept, but an intentionally created reality because you are the creator of your own reality. And in divine intelligence, there is nothing to lose. Embracing this life will always lead you to your next best. Number four, rooted in mind or conditioned thoughts is human programming. Trusting innate higher wisdom is divine intelligence. When you're rooted in mind, you're trapped in circular thinking, mental loops that reinforce limiting beliefs. It relies heavily on conditioned thoughts that have been ingrained through family, society, and past experiences. This is where programmed intellect is mistaken for truth, and people are conditioned to believe they must figure it out. Whereas trusting innate higher wisdom, you are anchored in higher knowing, which transcends the mind's chatter and programming. This is the embodiment of divine consciousness, the direct access to higher planes of wisdom, a knowing that is felt and lived, not just intellectually understood. As an energy source, you have psychic abilities. Embrace it. It is trusting the wisdom of the heart and the soul's connection to the divine, where answers come from beyond the mind's capacity to rationalize. Five, separation is human programming. Unity consciousness is divine intelligence. Human consciousness perpetuates a sense of separation, seeing the self as distinct from others and the universe, which reinforces competition, comparison, and isolation. This disconnect from the divine and others leads to a life of suffering, ever seeking and striving for a piece of a limited pie rather than thriving. Unity consciousness understands the oneness of all existence, where no separation exists between you and the collective. This intelligence knows that every person, situation, and event is connected through a greater spiritual tapestry. It allows you to see beyond your ego and operate from a space of unity consciousness, trusting until you cross the threshold of knowing that you are always supported by divine forces and can surrender to the flow of life without fear. In essence, this shift from human programming to divine intelligence isn't just a mindset change. Oh no. That's what I taught for years in personal development, which is a step beyond programming. But this, it's a complete transformation of identity. It's the journey of awakening to certain truths in human consciousness to rising to your divine nature, where you no longer live according to societal or ego driven norms, but from the truth of who you are as a divine being. Operating from divine intelligence means rising above limitations, transcending fears, and embracing the freedom and power that come from living in alignment with your higher self and in universal flow. This is where I live today. Everything changed when I shifted identities. I am not a mere human. I just use this meat suit. I love it. It's my best friend. I need it, but I am not it. The way things are collapsing around you, your only way out is to rise above it. Are you ready to transition from intellect based decision making to operate from divine guidance? Now you know what it means and what it's going to take. I'm excited about what's coming on this channel. Let me tell you a little bit about it. You are energy first. So we'll explore how shifting your frequency recalibrates everything in your life. From conditioned thought to intuitive knowing. Here's where you no longer rely on logic alone, but trust the divine intelligence within you. Healing from human programming. Oh, this is about undoing layers of false identity and doctrine, not just a mindset shift. Living from divine consciousness. This is about recalibrating your frequency, and it means navigating life from a higher state of awareness. Frequency recalibration versus energy shifts. They are different. And when you start to understand energy more, then you'll actually be able to deliberately recalibrate your entire frequency. Well, that's just a sampling of what's to come. Now, who is all this for? This channel is for those who are ready to break free from programming and conditioning and all the stuff that's kept you small and living other people's desires for you rather than living your divine wisdom. If that is not you, it's okay. I'm not here for everybody. Everybody's not in the same place at the same time. I've said this loud and often. I am not in the convincing and converting business. This is only for those who feel it deeply. I am not in the comments arguing for people that this is not for. Gone. But if it is you, I encourage you to subscribe, to share this video so that others can join this journey of transcendence as well. And let me hear from you. I'll meet you down in the comment section, okay? Additionally, stay tuned for some resources that are coming to help guide you even further, or as I like to refer to it, return you back to self. Well, that's all I have for you today. It's your life. Choose it just as it is. Own it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Change it. As long as you can breathe and learn, it can get better. From somewhere out here in South America, ciao for now.